Fed.
We fucking your baby mama, nigga.
Hunter, Vince McMahon.
You can't survive this shit, nigga.
Fed.
Back right now, nigga. We out here lit, boy.
Triple H.
Congratulations. You just lost another one.
Nick Khan. Fed.
We gonna see how
Chicago.
Yeah, we gonna see how motherfuckers.
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah, we here, baby. We here, baby.
Cody.
Don't you regret not coming to
All.
Don't you regret not coming to
All. Stanford. Industry plants. Scripted promos. The Fed. TK. Impact.
Baby, go.
Impact.
We always fucking know. Get this nigga the fuck out of here.
Vince McMahon. The Fed.
Fuck everybody up.
Triple H.
When we see you,
Wembley Stadium.
bring that same energy, nigga.
Bing bang.
Tiger style.
Off with your head. Dance, dance till you're dead.
こんにちは、皆さん。I、クレートがユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
Yeah, I hear the battle cry under the devil's sky. The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best ever shine.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, rolling solo tonight, Jeffrey Vegas. How's everybody doing? We already got Coach Nick and the Coug up in the chat. Thank you guys very much for being with us here tonight, or with me here tonight. Unfortunately, Rome is stuck at work. He has not even seen Dynamite yet, or he might be home by now watching Dynamite right about now. Maybe he'll join us in the chat if we get lucky going on throughout the night here. What up, Colby? Thank you very much, Colby, for joining us on another one of our live streams here for the AEW Dynamite review from Cincinnati, Ohio. And man, this crowd was freaking awesome all night. They were absolutely ready for when Jon Moxley came out at the beginning of this show. We'll get to the review here in a moment, but I do want to start off with a little bit of the, the elephant in the room with, Twitter seems to be extremely unhappy with the local authorities in London releasing a number much lower, about 10,000 lower than the 81,035 that we had announced for all in. Now, the number that they had announced at All In was the tickets sold, right? So they didn't have the exact gate numbers. I don't know how long it takes to get them, but apparently it took a little while. So I don't know what happened to those other 10,000 tickets. A lot of people are blaming Tony Khan, saying he may have bought those tickets himself. But I actually want to look at it another way. I think someone else may have bought them in an attempt to make him look foolish. Say that they only sold 40,000, which is what everybody predicted, right? Well, if 10,000 of those were bought by some phantom company hoping that this was going to fail, it would have only been 30,000 and they would have been easily able to call it a fail. But this thing took off like crazy, and of course I'm just being conspiracy theorist, Jeffrey here. But we don't know what happened. I'm very interested to see Tony Khan's explanation, if we even get one. We all know the WWE puts out fake numbers, but we were very much led to believe that the AEW does not put out fake numbers. So I definitely want to see where they go with the explanation. What are they going to do? You know, what are they going to say? You know, I'm very interested in hearing that, you know. But it is what it is at the moment. You know, I doubt Tony Khan would be letting people get tattoos of the event with the number if it wasn't some sort of an actual real number. But we'll see somewhere along in the future, you know, what actually happened here. So it's pretty much all I can say at the moment, you know. But let's go ahead and get into this with our AEW Dynamite review from Cincinnati, Ohio. We started off for the AEW International Championship, Jon Moxley versus Big Bill with Ricky Starks ringside. And man, this crowd was absolutely 100% ready for Moxley. And again, Tony Schiavone started off by saying, you know, it's Bizarro World because Moxley is being cheered. And I'm like, Moxley gets cheered almost everywhere he goes unless he's wrestling Orange Cassidy. You know what I mean? So I thought it was weird that they kept calling it Bizarro World that Moxley was being cheered, you know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is, and this was a absolutely fantastic match. Big Bill, since he has left the Fed, has absolutely turned himself, I mean, completely turned himself around. He looked very good in the ring. I didn't see any spots where he looked lost. I didn't see anything that I could complain about at all. Absolutely loved the match. Moxley was bleeding a few moments into the match. You know, death, taxes, Moxley bleeding. This was great, man. One of my favorite parts is Big Bill hitting the Big Boss Man Slam, or just the Boss Man Slam. I'm a big fan of the Big Boss Man from back in the day when I was a kid. I love to hate that guy. You know what I mean? I really, really hated that dude. So got some nice memories there. The Boss Man, like seeing that Boss Man Slam from Big Bill. We get the massive King Kong Lariat from Jon Moxley. Only gets a 2 count. Ricky Starks gets involved, casting some distraction, but he winds up pushing Moxley off the top rope, you know, leaving him hanging on the top. Big Bill hits a massive big boot, they called it, only gets a 2 count. Bryan Danielson shows up and absolutely just obliterates Ricky Starks on the outside, but Ricky does manage to throw Danielson into the stairs, the steel stairs. And Danielson's arm that he had just broken is the first thing that hits those steps. So hope Danielson is all right there. But during all this confusion, Jon Moxley locks in an awesome triangle choke, but he transitions from triangle choke to armbar. And a lot of people don't know, you know, if you have somebody in a triangle choke, all you gotta do is crank on the arm, and the armbar is there as well. He cranks on the arm, and Big Bill taps out. So Jon Moxley picks up the win here and retains the International Championship. I thought this was a great match. Absolutely loved it. Let me know what you guys thought of this match in chat. Colby says, Mox bleeds more than horror movie victims. Sometimes, dude, sometimes. He definitely got himself good here tonight. He was bleeding heavily. Next up, we had Renee Paquette with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom backstage. This was a pretty good promo from the Kingdom and Roderick Strong here. Loved it. Next up was Don Callis coming out with Takeshita. First, he reveals that Takeshita has a new nickname. And I absolutely love this nickname for Takeshita. He is calling him the Alpha. You know, we got Kenny Omega, obviously, is their arch rival at the moment. So, you know, we got the Alpha and the Omega. I really, really enjoy that. I wonder if one day we may someday get a tag team with those two, the Alpha and Omega. That's going to be great. I think it's going to be just works. You know what I mean? And then he reveals the painting, the new masterpiece. And this is a painting of Konosuke Takeshita holding a sword over Kota Ibushi, who is down on his knees, begging him no. Pretty decent painting here. Not gonna lie, it wasn't the best that they've done so far, but it was still decent. I liked it. Callis continues to cut a promo calling Kenny a cuck for Kota Ibushi. I was like, holy shit, they actually said that word and they did not censor it. I was shocked. It was great promos here from Callis and Konosuke. Konosuke didn't say anything, but you know what I mean. Next up, we had Al Scoops backstage with Bryan Danielson. Danielson cuts an absolutely incredible promo here with the entire Blackpool Combat Club. But I didn't really hear anything Danielson said because over his shoulder was Jon Moxley, absolutely covered in blood. And Moxley was just like wobbling around like a drunken sailor. And he starts to kind of like shake his head and come to. This was great. The Lucha Brothers show up screaming and yelling at Moxley. Looks like Rey Fenix is getting another shot. Not quite sure why Rey Fenix is getting this second shot. You know, Mox has already beaten Fenix and Penta, I believe, if I'm not wrong. I know he's beaten Penta already, which was just last week, so, you know, we shall see. Next up, Claudio then shows up with and Eddie Kingston. So Eddie Kingston is just absolutely staring laser beams through Claudio. Everybody kind of gets shuffled off stage, and we get Claudio and Eddie just continue staring each other down. And Eddie says to Claudio, "One more week." And he gives a nice evil laugh. I loved Eddie's evil laugh here. It was fantastic. What do you guys think of this Eddie versus Claudio match? We think Eddie's going to finally pick this one up. I'm really hoping Eddie finally picks this up and gets the win. Go over to the chat real quick. Colby says, Adam. The Coog says Takeshita versus Ibushi. You gotta love it. Yeah, that's going to be great. Michael Duke says, hello, everybody. What's going on, Michael? Welcome to the show tonight. Next up, we got Renee Paquette with Hook. And before they can get too far into the promo here, Orange Cassidy shows up. And Renee Paquette's like, what's up, man? And Cassidy's kind of like, I don't know. You know, Hook's over here looking pretty cool with his championship belt. And Hook's like, hey, man, you were a great champion. And Orange Cassidy was like, oh, thanks, man. And the crowd, you could just hear how Orange Cassidy, he was like, oh, I used to have one of those. And he was so sad. And the crowd was like, oh. And, you know, it was great. It was very good. The Coog. I agree, Coog. I think there's going to be a few title changes, just not MJF. Renee Paquette asks Orange Cassidy if he's okay. And he says, I don't know. I'm just still so tired. And you could hear the crowd audibly laugh. It was great. Love Orange Cassidy, man. This guy is absolutely fantastic. Next up, we had the 4-way for the #1 contendership for the AEW Women's World Championship match. We had Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD. This was a really good match, to be honest with you. I saw some people saying they wished it had gone longer. I actually disagree. I like when these 4-ways they're hard, they're fast, just boom, boom, boom on Dynamite. And while 2 of the girls were knocked out of the ring, Hikaru Shida was taking everybody out. She hits a huge top rope crossbody to the outside, takes out the entire crew. A whole bunch of near falls, but as Dr. Britt Baker, she kind of gets the upper hand in the match. Toni Storm with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Toni Storm hits Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with the roll up for the 1, 2, 3. And man, I can understand if you wish there was a better finish, but I love roll up finishes, especially for heel characters. You know what I mean? Not Britt Baker, but Toni Storm's new character is absolutely unbelievably freaking amazing. Love it. For anybody wondering who the girl in the audience was that was distracting Nyla Rose and probably everybody else, that is Darcy from the Drive-In with Joe Bob on AMC's Horror Fest. Darcy, I forget her last name on there, but she goes by Darcy the Mail Girl, I believe. So if you guys want to check her out on Twitter, she's for AMC, the channel. She's part of their horror movie. When they do like horror movie, what do you call those? Binge fests or whatever. I'm drawing a blank on what those are called, but yep. This was great. I loved it. Toni Storm is your number one contender for Saraya's AEW Women's Championship. And I see some people wondering, like, why do you take the belt off of Toni Storm if you're just going to make her the number one contender again? And look, Shida becoming champion again makes her legit again. We brought her back into the division. She's now legit once more. Toni Storm is still absolutely killing it with this new character, and you have to ride this momentum. So it only makes sense to bring Toni Storm back in right now. And Saraya, I mean, come on. We gave her the belt because it was all in. It was in her home country. And I think it's, maybe not time to pull the trigger right away, but I wouldn't be upset with them if they did and put it back on Toni. You know what I mean? We can see where it goes, but I wouldn't be upset with them if they put it back on Toni right away. Next up, ties in, we had Saraya with Renee Paquette. She cuts a pretty good promo on Toni Storm, to be honest. I'm very proud of Saraya. Absolutely killing it right now in AEW. Great promo here, and I thought she did fantastic. No shoes were thrown. This was good. This is a lot harder without Rome, you guys. I should have done a watch along with you guys, huh? All right, next up we had Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, the Les Sex Gods, down to the ring together. All smiles, handshakes, lovey-dovey. I was very confused. Who did I say the actress was? So she's not, I guess you could call her an actress. So she's called Darcy from the Drive-In with Joe Bob on AMC. Let me see if I can give you a way to find her. Just go on like Dynamite and type in Darcy. You should find her pretty easy. But Darcy from the Drive-In, I think, is what she goes by. She's on the AMC channel for their horror movie stuff. So Jericho and Sammy come down to the ring together. Like everything's just fine. And I'm like, what the is going on here? The last time we saw them, they were pushing and shoving in the ring. And Sammy walked out. I was like, what is what? So Jericho gets on the ring and he's like, I put together a video package for all the times that we've spent together. And I'm even more confused at this point. I was like, what universe did I just teleport into? But anyway, they basically just say, we're going to have a match, we're going to shake hands, and then we're going to go win the world titles. And I was like, who's booking this? This has to be Jericho. I don't know. I don't know. I was very confused at what was happening here. Didn't make any sense to me. The last time we saw them, they were pushing and shoving. Sammy walked out. All of a sudden, they're together. They go to shake hands. Jericho pulls him in close and he tells Sammy, I'm going to beat the living hell out of you. And I hope you would do the same to me. And I'm like, if this is where you were yes, Darcy the male girl. Yes, that is her. Thank you. If this is where you were going with this, where did last week come from? Like, forgive me if you guys think it makes sense. I was just so confused here. I'm okay with where they're at the finish of this. Like, yeah, I want to see Jericho versus Sammy, and I want them to still like each other afterwards. You know what I mean? But Sammy needs to separate from Jericho. It's just, I don't know. The way we got here was odd. You know, very odd. Next up, we had MJF in the medical office being advised that he is not cleared for Dynamite this week. So he gets the week off. He tells Roddy to basically shake it off, you bland bitch. Absolutely love MJF's promos when he does these things. And then we could have ended it right there, and MJF's promo still would have been absolutely fantastic. But no. MJF has to go and cut one of the greatest throwbacks or callbacks, references, whatever you want to call it. MJF does one of the greatest throwbacks you will ever hear. You absolutely have to go on Twitter and look this up. You'll find it all over the place. It's what everybody's talking about. MJF cuts the math promo from Scott Steiner on TNA. And he makes this promo his own. It was absolutely unbelievably hilarious. He made you think the math made sense. In the way that Scott Steiner's math, you were like, that doesn't make sense at all, Scott. What are you talking about? This one, MJF, you were like, absolutely, that makes perfect sense, MJF, 100%. Absolute. Like, he made you believe that his math was real. And it was true. It very well may be. I loved this. This is easily the best throwback promo I have ever seen. This makes me so hopeful for a future where MJF cuts a cream of the crop promo with a little creamer from a Jewish diner. I want him and MJF sitting at a Jewish diner and MJF opening a little cream of the crop promo, please. Please go see that MJF math promo if you can. It was incredible. I laughed so hard. It was great. Absolutely great. Next up was the Mogul Embassy's Brian Cage with Prince Nana versus Hangman Adam Page for their third match in their trilogy. I do not know if Hangman has some sort of injury, but his entire, I want to say left pec was absolutely black and blue. Not quite what Cody Rhodes's was with the torn pec, but it had an eerily similar look to it. I am really hoping there's not some sort of a tear going on in there. It was just a nasty, nasty bruise covering most of the left pec of Hangman Adam Page. If anybody has any insight on what that possibly is, the injury, please let us know in the chat. But if you didn't know, or if you weren't predicting this already, that Hangman and Brian Cage were going to go out there and absolutely kill it. Spoiler alert. They absolutely fucking killed it. I loved this match. I love most Hangman matches, but a lot of times it depends on his opponent for me to really, really love that match, right? Brian Cage did a great job here in this match. Swerve Strickland comes out to cast his distraction, with his music hitting right as Hangman's about to hit his first buckshot. Lets the match go on another good 10 minutes. And Hangman winds up picking up the win using the Deadeye. I can't remember the last time that the Hangman has used the Deadeye to pick up a win. If anybody can remember the last time that he used that particular move and actually got the 1, 2, 3, I'd be interested, especially on somebody as powerful as Brian Cage. I really liked it. You know what I mean? It seemed like, let's kind of dissect it here a little bit. Why would Hangman want to finish it with a different move than the buckshot, right? Every time he went after the buckshot lariat, somebody from the Mogul Embassy was out there. You know what I mean? So maybe Hangman was trying to be smart and like, you know what? They're going to mess with me if I go out there. I'm just going to hit him with a move in the middle of the ring. So really, really, really enjoyed this. After the match, Hangman gets on the mic, cuts a good promo on Swerve Strickland. Swerve comes back and cuts a decent promo back to Hangman, and he challenges him to a match at Wrestle Dream, which, yes, please sign me the fuck up. Wrestle Dream, Swerve versus Hangman. Absolutely, that match should open the show. That needs to be our opener. First match on the pay-per-view card. Absolutely. Please. And Swerve also tells Cage to attack, and Cage attacks from behind. And while Cage is given a pretty decent beatdown to Hangman, Prince Nana starts doing the Nana dance. And it was really good. I was actually enjoying this fucking, the cuck, dude. Rome, my God. Is that where you're at in the show right now? That was an incredible spot. Oh, my God. It actually made me audibly be like, ho ho! Rome's going to be in shambles in a little while, you guys, when he gets there. He's going to be in shambles. So Nana's doing his dance here, and from behind, the Young Bucks come and make the save. The Young Bucks super kick Brian Cage, but Nana continues to dance. And as he's dancing, he starts to turn around, and he turns around, and who does he see? The Young Bucks, baby. And Prince Nana eats a nasty, nasty double super kick. And I have to tell you guys, Twitter, X, whatever you guys call it right now, were huge fans of this. I had hashtag Dynamite up, right? And it was just pouring. And it was, yes, please, sign me up. Yes, of Wrestle Dream, Swerve, and Hangman. Like, one of the most over things that I have seen in a long time right there. So, AEW knocked that one out the park. Whoever's booking that one, good job on that. Next up, we had Daniel Garcia. And he was backstage with Renee Paquette. And, Renee Paquette immediately started to ask about Jericho and Sammy Guevara. And I like cringed. I was like, man, don't talk to Daniel about those two. And before I could even say anything, Garcia was like, I hate to interrupt you, Renee, but I don't feel like talking about those two. Why does everybody want to talk about them? What about me? What about Daniel Garcia? And I was like, yeah, what about Daniel Garcia? You know what I mean? I was like, yeah. So, 100% love Daniel Garcia in this promo, especially, giving himself those props there, kind of putting himself up on the pedestal. Absolutely loved it. And Don Callis shows up to interrupt in the middle of Danny's little bit of a promo he was cutting here. And Don Callis essentially tries to recruit Daniel Garcia into the Don Callis family. And Daniel Garcia doesn't really give him a yes or no answer. He just does the dance, you know what I mean? And Don Callis is like, Yeah, looks down at his crotch and he's like, yeah, that's money right there. And he follows Daniel Garcia off the screen as he walks away. I thought this was a good segment. I do like the idea of Don Callis attempting to recruit ex-JAS members. I have a feeling he's going to try to recruit all of them, and they're all going to wind up seeing how Don Callis is such a manipulative a-hole, and they're all going to come together to help Jericho, in the moment that he needs them. So I'm kind of liking where this is going. Next up, we had Darby Allin and Nick Wayne in a tag team match versus Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. This was a good match. We had Christian Cage coming out onto commentary. And dude, I finally figured out where Darby gets his inspiration from. Rome, if Rome was listening, which I kind of doubt it because he's watching, I bet he's watching Dynamite right now. But Darby gets his inspiration from a video game called Sonic Pinball, where he just revs up at 100 miles an hour and just bing, 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 just bounces off of everything. It is one of the coolest things to watch this kid wrestle. And listen, the way that this kid has reckless abandon for his body, half of the things that he does, I know they don't look safe, but he has a way of doing them where I think he understands the bare minimum of the safety he needs. Could he injure himself one day? 100%, obviously. But I think he's got these moves down to where he understands that he's light enough to do some of these things. But if you're a big fan, don't miss any of his matches, because it's not going to last long. I mean, he can only do this for so many years before his back is finally going to tell him no. Look at Randy Orton right now. So Randy Orton's been going for close to 15 years, jumping on his back every night. That's just a small bump onto Randy Orton's back every night, right? And he's wound up, I believe he's got double fusion surgery in his lower back. Don't quote me on this. I don't follow WWE's injuries very closely, but I know he's got some sort of major back thing going on, to the point where it's recommended he doesn't wrestle anymore. Now, Darby is doing missile drop kicks off the top rope to the outside, landing on his back. I'm not sure you could think of anything that's going to hurt your back more. Maybe if they pulled the fucking mats up and he hits concrete. Can you guys think of anything else in or outside that wrestling ring? Darby jumping off the top rope, double, missile drop kick, and landing flat on his back on the outside. I know it's a mat, but it's only an inch or two. Just don't miss any matches, I don't know if you guys were here for our Bray Wyatt tribute, I've kind of turned a new leaf on the WWE just a little bit. I don't exactly tune into the entire show, but there are wrestlers who, after Bray passing, I realized I missed Bray's final match. Could I go back and watch that Mountain Dew black whatever the fuck it was? I could go back and watch it, and I probably will. I haven't yet. But I missed it. I missed Bray's final match. You know what I mean? Because I was being very stubborn, hating the WWE, hating Vince McMahon, which I still do. I hate the way they do business. I hate the way that people fucking bow down to Vince McMahon when he walks out on the stage. You guys know how disgusting that human being is? Come on. Come on. I get it. He created your fucking WWE empire. I get it. But bow down to the guys that really did that, not him. Like Cena, Rock, Hogan. Not so much Hogan, but you get my drift. You get the drift. I just can't bring myself to like sit there and support a product like that. You know, Rome puts it he puts it perfectly. I support the wrestlers, but I can't support the product. You'll never catch me buying a pay-per-view of theirs or premium live event. It is what it is. But I've turned a new leaf to where there's wrestlers like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn that I absolutely love. So I will tune into those segments of the show. Any segment with Kevin Owens and Sami, I'm in. I don't catch it live. You know what I mean? I have a DVR. I'll find it. I refuse to miss anything from someone that I consider one of my favorites. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. Coog, I know you don't watch anything of theirs. It's perfectly fine. Totally understand how people don't. Rome doesn't watch anything of theirs either. Another one would be Seth Rollins. I'm a massive Seth Rollins fan. I watch a lot of his stuff that he does there. The Joker is getting a little old with Seth Rollins here. You know, we're going down another alleyway here, but just to, you know, I don't want to miss anything from Darby Allin. So if you're a big fan of Darby Allin's, don't miss any episodes where he's going to be on, because it's not going to be for very much longer, man, if he keeps this up. But let's get into this match. This match was absolutely fantastic. Love Cool Hand Angelo Parker. Love Daddy Magic. I would really like these guys to, instead of going back to 2.0, it's built right in. Let's go 3.0. I mean, why not? It makes perfect sense. 2.0 was a cool name. 3.0 makes a cool name. Let me know in chat what you guys think. Daddy Magic, Angelo Parker, 3.0. Get rid of these names that Jericho put on them. You know, just a thought. I kind of, you know, had the thought and I thought I liked it. But Darby Allin does pick up the win here. He does a coffin drop at the same time that Nick Wayne does a moonsault off the top rope to the outside. I thought this was a really cool spot. He hits the coffin drop and picks up the 1, 2, 3. And Christian Cage on commentary was extremely upset that Darby picked up this win. He was absolutely not happy. Now, there was a funny part in this where Christian Cage said that he was over on the Instagram looking for, I believe it was Nick Wayne's mom, right? Was this Nick Wayne's mom he was talking about, or was this Darby's mom? I don't know if anyone's ever referenced Darby's mom, so I'm pretty sure it was Nick Wayne's mom. And he said he was going through her Instagram photos and she doesn't take enough bikini photos. I thought that was pretty funny. And it turns out that Christian gets on the mic and he challenges Darby Allin and Sting to a match at Grand Slam. He says, the last time you guys wrestled me, you know, I didn't have my real partner. You know, this time I'll have my real partner, Luchasaurus. And that should be a pretty good match. You guys think Nick Wayne turns there? I really think Nick Wayne may join Christian Cage, even though he said some dastardly shit about his dad. Could you imagine if Christian turns Nick Wayne heel, and even Nick Wayne is like, yeah, my dad sucked ass? I would lose my shit. I would laugh so hard. It would be hilarious. All right, next up, we had a quick recap of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament, how we got here to the finals with Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe for the main event. If you didn't catch this match, you need to. This was an absolutely incredible match between Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe. This match was brutal, back and forth. And one of the most impressive things here is, excuse me, I've never really pictured Roderick Strong as a guy that could hang in the ring with Samoa Joe in kayfabe. So, like, when I see Roderick standing next to Samoa Joe, and I'm like, yeah, if those two had a match, Samoa Joe is fucking murdering this dude. You know what I mean? It just has that look of like, there's no way Roddy's going to put up a fight against Samoa Joe. But Roderick Strong made it extremely believable that he could hang. And he absolutely hung with Samoa Joe in this match. And the crowd really hated Roddy. They booed every time he had offense. And every single time Samoa Joe got some offense in, they started cheering. Like, it was great. I loved this crowd tonight. Samoa Joe hit the nastiest Uranagi I have seen in years. Joe was in the corner. Roddy comes into the corner for a splash. Joe catches him. Absolutely disgusting Uranagi in the corner there. Mike Bennett hops up on the apron, tries to cast some distraction. Samoa Joe takes him out. And Roddy attempts to, he hits Samoa Joe with a couple of really nice, big time moves. No finishers. Only picks up a 2 count. And Samoa Joe gets up and basically just immediately locks in the coquina clutch. Roderick Strong taps out here, and Joe picks up the win and becomes the winner of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. And he will face MJF, Maxwell, Jacob Friedman at AEW Grand Slam next Wednesday. I honestly thought Roddy was going to win this one to continue the storyline that's going on with Adam Cole. But I noticed that we finished at around 9:55. Samoa Joe gets on the mic real quick and he says, "Oh, Max." He says Samoa Joe's prophecy has come true. And he says he's going to take everything away from you, Max. Everything. And when he said everything twice, I was like, oh, that means he's going to take Adam Cole away from him too. I was like, that's going to be good. I can't wait to see what happens there at Grand Slam. So Joe walks into the back and Adam Cole comes running out to check on Roddy. And Roddy seemed to be fine. He didn't want the neck brace. But as soon as he noticed Adam Cole was coming down to the ring, he immediately fell down and, oh, Adam, Adam. He wouldn't stop screaming Adam to the point where they put him on a stretcher and stretcher him out while he is screaming Adam. This was hilarious. The Kingdom and Adam Cole were yelling and screaming at each other, saying, this is your fault. No, this is your fault. No, this is your fault. Roddy is screaming at him, and the paramedics are saying, he's right here. He's right here. And he's like, but I can't see his face. Fan-frickin-tastic. And while Adam Cole is looking at Roderick Strong being carted off on a stretcher, Samoa Joe shows up out of nowhere and wraps up Adam Cole in the coquina clutch. And he screams at the camera while he's choking out Adam Cole. Taking everything from you, Adam. Everything. And we go off the air with Adam Cole choked out, unconscious, laying on the ramp. Samoa Joe looking like an absolute monster. I can't wait. I think Dynamite, Grand Slam is going to be fucking fantastic. That card looks incredible, by the way. Let me see if I can find the card here. So I see Samoa Joe versus MJF for the AEW World Championship. By the way, CM Punk's AEW Real World title is gone. As if it never existed. I believe they are dropping it. I'm not sure if they will ever reference it, but it is gone. We also will have Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli for a title versus title. Ring of Honor World Championship versus the New Japan Strong Championship. There will be Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara. There will be Saraya versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. There will be Jon Moxley versus Rey Fenix for the AEW International Championship. Wow. That card is absolutely stacked for Grand Slam. I'm wondering if we may be getting even another match or two added for Collision this weekend. Man, great episode of Dynamite tonight. I don't think I'm going to be putting it on the same level as last week's Dynamite. Last week we gave Dynamite an 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to be giving this one about a 7.5 out of 10. It was still fantastic, and maybe the more I think about it, we may change that a little bit, you know. Join our Discord if you haven't already. The link is right there in chat above the Coog. Please join us in Discord. We are constantly chatting up in there 24/7, even at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Video games, sports, football, whatever you watch, you know, we're all in there chatting it up. Love it. Discord is super cool. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait for Grand Slam. I can't wait for Collision, to be honest. Co-host Rome should be back with us during Collision's review on Saturday night. But yeah, I'm going to give this Dynamite a 7.5. That is a solid score for a Dynamite, especially the one right before a Grand Slam. I guess you could call it the Grand Slam Go Home show. The Coog says he's predicting it right now. 2 title changes at the least at Grand Slam. So you're predicting 2? I'll have to look at it, but you know, we're going to be doing the predictions for Grand Slam. Make sure you guys follow us in the Discord. I will have the link for our predictions where you guys can go to the website. The website is fallscountanywhere.com. Go check them out. You know what? Let's go drop by the Falls Count Anywhere website here right now. We'll show you guys a nice little display of what you guys can check out here over on the website. So if you guys come over to fallscountanywhere.com, you will see, let me move over here. You guys will come here to their homepage where you can choose from a WWE pick'em, AEW pick'em, or the indie shows as well. I'm pretty sure they do the indie pay-per-views. I'm not sure if they do all the other shows, but didn't mean to click that. So what we have here on the main page is this week's top 10 pickers. So doing your picks, you get points for your picks. So it looks like this guy, the RKO fan, RMW, is their number 1 on the points this week. You can see in 2023, he has 0 belts for the monthly champion. So he does not have any monthly where he was the top number 1 in points. But weekly, he does have a championship belt. It looks to be a bronze belt. So he was 3rd place on weekly. He does have 5 belts for pay-per-views where he was number 1. He was number 2 3 times, and he was number 3 once. So that's pretty cool. You get to see all of this here on the main show. And let's go over to the AEW Pick'em so you can see what this looks like. So this month, the top pickers, man, these guys got a lot of points. I've been slacking a little bit. I am probably way down the list. Yeah, I'm not even up in there. But let's go to the Dynamite and show you what it looks like if you were going to be making your picks. So we had singles match, Brian Cage versus Hangman Adam Page. I chose Hangman. We had AEW World Championship Grand Slam Eliminator, Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe. I had Roderick Strong. I got that one wrong. Damn it. Coog, what'd you have on this one? Did you get me on this one? Samoa Joe did take that match. Next up was the Fatal 4-Way AEW Women's Championship, and I fucking nailed this one with my pick of Toni Storm to pick up the win. Next up was the International Championship, Moxley versus Big Bill. I think everybody knew who was going to win this match, Jon Moxley. There was a question, do the Young Bucks score a victory in a match? I wrote no matches. The Young Bucks would not take place in a match was my prediction. Nailed that one as well. Let's see here. Does Konosuke Takeshita score a victory in a match? I also predicted no matches for Takeshita. Got that one. Let's see here. How does the winner of Cage versus Hangman go? I said via pinfall, and I got it. Let's see here. How does the winner of Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe? I put pinfall. Fuck, I got both points wrong on that one. Okay, I forgot. I thought I had a submission on that. Really? I put pinfall when I thought Roderick was going to win? There's no way Roddy's going to hit the end of Heartache on Joe. What was I thinking? Next up was, how does the winner of Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm versus Britt Baker win? I put pinfall. If you had given me the choice for a roll-up, I would have even put roll-up. I was confident in that move being the winner of that match. How does that keep hitting that? The bonus, how does the winner of the AEW International Championship Moxley versus Big Bill match win? I chose a submission, which I nailed it. I had a feeling Moxley was going to have to put Big Bill in a submission. I did not see him picking Big Bill up for the big old Death Rider or Paradigm Shift. Got that one. Next question, how many matches on Dynamite do not end in a pinfall? So that means one match. You know, it was over or under 0.5. So all we needed was one match not being a pinfall, which obviously was a submission. So we got this one correct here as well. How many championships changed hands tonight? I had 0. I did not think any championships were changing hands tonight. We got that one as well. Next up, we got who gets pinned or submits or takes the fall in the number 1 contenders match. I was absolutely incorrect here. I thought it was for sure going to be Nyla Rose, but Dr. Britt Baker DMD took the fall in that match. Next up, how many buckshot lariats does Hangman Adam Page connect on Brian Cage? I thought he would for sure at least hit one. I thought Cage would possibly kick out of it. I did not see any buckshot lariats on Brian Cage. Got this one wrong. Does Britt Baker connect the lockjaw on anybody? I thought for sure she would at least lock it in on somebody. I do not believe she did. I got that one wrong as well. Damn, not doing too good here. How many muscle busters does Samoa Joe connect on Roderick Strong? I had at least one. I don't believe he hit a muscle buster on Roderick Strong either. Damn it. I'm on a losing streak here. And with a special question added to the website for us, thank you guys very much over at Falls Count Anywhere. How many broken tables during the AEW International Championship match? Over or under? I had to go over. I thought for sure we were going to get a table spot. We almost did. Big Bill threw Moxley over the announcer's table, or the timekeeper's table, if you will. I really thought we were going to get a broken table spot here, but alas, we did not. Got this one incorrect. Thank you guys very much for adding that question for us. Next up, we had, is the first match of the night a singles match or not? And I absolutely knew we were getting Jon Moxley for this. 100% Moxley is replacing Orange Cassidy with opening the show. I am absolutely positive. They've done it 3 weeks in a row now. So just like Cassidy used to open the show, that is what Moxley is doing. I love it. Next up, is the main event a singles match or not? And I chose singles match. I knew Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe would be the main event here. Bonus, does MJF show up live in ring or backstage on Dynamite? Yes, he does. MJF was on the show. Now, this is a question that could possibly go either way, and we may need to see how they're going to rule this on the website. because the question here says, does MJF show up live in ring or backstage on AEW Dynamite? So he showed up backstage, but it said last week up in the corner, like right up here in the corner. It said last week. So MJF was on tonight's Dynamite, but it was a recording from last week. I'm not sure how they're going to rule the points on this question. It's very interesting. I might throw out a tweet asking them, what's going to be the verdict on this question, but we shall see. Next up, does Saraya show up live in ring or backstage? Yes, she does. I was very confident that she would show up after the 4-way match to determine her next opponent. Just made sense. Rome just got to the MJF doing the Scott Steiner math. Love it, love it, love it. That was one of my favorite, easily my favorite throwback promo of all time. Absolutely loved it. Next question, does Kenny Omega show up live in ring or backstage on Dynamite? And I don't believe he did. I think I lost a point here. Well, I didn't lose a point, but I did not get this point. I was incorrect here. And that's it. So I love how they have lots and lots of questions. There's some questions that are just kind of out of left field that makes them really tough to answer. Like this, does Kenny show up anywhere on Dynamite? And he was only in like video packages. He didn't show up when Takeshita was out. He didn't show up when Don was out. And so I got this one wrong, and they haven't added the points up yet, so I can't tell you where I stand in the points for tonight's show. But if you guys want to get in on this for the WWE events, for the AEW events, please go check out Falls Count Anywhere. We will be having our own group section in this soon. So basically, everybody from chat in our Discord and in our live streams here, we're going to have our own Pick'em Central where only the people that we want are going to be in this points thing. That way we don't have to compete with the 100 other people that are on the website with everybody else, just makes it a little bit more personal between us here at the Broken Tables podcast. So I can't wait to start doing that with you guys. But anybody interested, like I said, join our Discord. I'll have the link in the Discord. You guys can jump on over to fallscountanywhere.com and put your picks in for Collision this Saturday and see how you guys stack up against me and the Coog. The Coog is trying desperately to defeat me. Last week did not go so good for the Coog. Didn't quite go very well for Nat either. Queen Nat jumped in there. She tried to deal her hand at the points on Dynamite, but I defeated both of y'all handily. So this week we shall see. Tomorrow the results will be out, and we'll reveal the results on the Collision show. But let's go take a look real quick now on what we have going on for Collision. So far for Collision, actually, let's see if we can announce Rampage. What do we got for Rampage? So this week on Rampage, Chris Statlander will defend the TBS Championship. Hold on. Yes, will defend the TBS Championship against Jade Cargill this Friday on Rampage. Wow, we got Grand Slam coming, yet we're going to throw this on to Rampage. I love that they're still giving Rampage some love. I have a feeling we may get some shenanigans here. Yeah, I feel like we might get some shenanigans here, and this match gets put onto Grand Slam, but maybe there just wasn't room on Grand Slam, so we're doing this on Rampage. Yeah, let's go. I'm all in on that one. Let's see what else we got here. That's for Grand Slam. I'm looking for Rampage. So we got the Lucha Brothers and the Hardys versus the Butcher and the Blade, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. That should be pretty good in a nice 8-man tag match. Traditional Rampage match. Here we go. Here's the whole card. So Chris Statlander versus Jade Cargill. Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal versus The Kingdom. That belongs on Ring of Honor. What's next? Lucha Brothers and the Hardys versus the Butcher Blade, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal. We just went over that. And the Trios Champions, the Acclaimed, will be in action on Rampage. All right. Not bad, not bad. So there's what we got for... That was Grand Slam I've gone over for you guys and Rampage. Now let's see what we're going to go over on Collision. Do we have the card for Collision out yet? I don't see very much. I do see for Collision so far, we have Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill in a tag match. Yes, please. Yes. Oh my. That's going to be freaking amazing. Collision is going to take place in State College, PA. That is Penn State University country. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD's backyard, y'all. That's going to be fantastic. I'm not sure if she's been announced for any matches yet, but I can guarantee you she's going to show up on that show. I would be absolutely shocked if you don't see Britt Baker on the show. We also have FTR taking on the Iron Savages. Iron Savages! Ah! All right, listen. I know Rome is poo-pooing on this match, but we got Grand Slam coming up on Wednesday. Okay? The Iron Savages are being repackaged into a new deal. They're being put on BTE. The Bucks apparently like them. They're giving them a match with FTR. If this is not at least 3 stars, I will eat crow and I will say, okay, I was wrong. I like the Iron Savages. I like this new gimmick. I don't like the third guy that's with them. I still don't even know his name. I've said his name multiple times and it just doesn't stick. But I like the characters that they're doing, just like beefy, yeah, we work out, yeah. I like that. They look it. I hope these guys can stay healthy. I loved them as Bear Country. You know what I mean? I don't think they needed the repackage in Rome's defense of not liking this, in Rome's defense of not liking their new gimmick. I get it, because Bear Country was a good gimmick. They just kept getting injured. So I don't think they needed a gimmick change. They just needed to stay healthy. I like this. I'm telling you, this is going to be a good match. Don't skip it. You know what I mean? Let's see what else we got. I'm not sure I see too much else announced for Collision yet. But if there's anything else, we'll obviously be going over it in the Discord. So once again, the link is in the chat right now. Just click that Discord link. It will take you directly there. If you need to download the Discord, it'll take you right to the app to download the app. You can pretty much consider Discord kind of like a Twitter that is only for us. Only the people that we invite get to be in there. There's channels for WWE, there's channels for New Japan, there's channels for the Indies, channels for AEW, there's channels for sports. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. Love having you guys in the Discord. Love having you guys in the live chat for the YouTube streams. This is hard without Rome. Really is. I miss you, bud. But I think I am going to go ahead and wrap things up here. My voice is absolutely not happy with me right now. I'm trying to use the Red Bull and some sips of water to keep the old vocal cords happy, but it is not quite working. So I think what we shall do here is I will say goodnight and bid you all adieu. Until next time, Top Guys out.